Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Starting the Right Way 5-minute devotion for October 20th, 2020. All right, we are going to jump right into this. And so I was thinking what it's like to be a father, what it's like to be a parent. It's a great responsibility raising a human life. And I'm so thankful for my wife and that we're co-laboring in this endeavor to raise our son together. And you want to do the right thing, you want to say the right thing, you want to be perfect, but it's just not the case, right? There are times where um, you're going to react in a way that you shouldn't react. You're going to say things that you shouldn't say. And me and my wife have made it a point to model to our son that when we're wrong, we're wrong. We're not perfect, and we do apologize to him for things, and we ask him for his forgiveness. And that has enabled him in turn when he does something wrong, he apologizes to us, mentions the specific act that he's apologizing for, and asks for forgiveness. And of course, we all hug it out in the end, right? But that led me to this verse this morning, and it's going to come from three different versions, but it's just one verse. So the first, it comes from Proverbs chapter 20, verse 27. The New Living Translation puts it this way: the Lord's light penetrates the human spirit, exposing every hidden motive. Okay. The Message puts it this way: God is in charge of human life, watching and examining us inside and out. The Living Bible puts it this way: a man's conscience is the Lord's searchlight, exposing his hidden motives. All right, so let's get into this a little bit. All right, so as a parent, it's easy for us to look at our children and look on the outside and see when they're growing up, see how they're acting, kind of see the motives of their heart. For my son, he's an only child, so when things break or happen around the house, there's not much further to go. With multiple kids, there's going to be some pointing of fingers and things like that. I remember growing up, I got 3 siblings, 2 brothers and a sister. And when, things happened, my parents would have to figure it out. They had 4 possibilities to choose from, right? My little guy, not much place to go except possibility of 6 cats. So anyway, okay, it's easy for us to look on the outside. Now, let's take this to the next level, okay? Let's take this to God's level. God is our parent, so to speak, right? He created us. He created us in the womb. He gave us life, and he sees our life from beginning to end, okay? And he knows us. He knows our hearts all along. He knows our motives. But here's the question: are you allowing God to shine his searchlight into your heart to check out your own motives? In my life, there have been times where I didn't even know I was thinking a certain way or feeling a certain way until I sat down with God in the morning and invited him into the circumstance or the situation that was going on, and allowed him to shine his flashlight onto the situation. And more often than not, I'm blown away and I'm like, God, I didn't even realize I was thinking that way about a certain situation. An example of this I can give you is when our daughter had passed away after being born, and she died on the second day here. We knew that was going to happen, and I've gone through that here before on this platform. But 3 years later, God had pointed out to me that I was pissed at him. And I really didn't realize that I was that angry with him, because I know when it first occurred, me and my wife actually took a defensive pattern to defend God against everybody who was, close to us, and saying, well, how could God let that happen, and this and that? And we were actually God's press agents. God doesn't need us to be his press agents. But what ended up happening over the years was I was just suppressing that feeling. And I ended up being very, very angry with God, and I didn't even realize it until he pointed it out to me about 3 years later. So that is my point. There are things in our hearts that, maybe have happened to us throughout our lives that we didn't even realize had an effect on us. And the best thing to do is to allow God's searchlight to shine in there, get to the root of the thing, and then tear the root out, and then allow God's love and calmness and peace to fill that area again. All right. So this is one small verse, but very deep and very powerful if you allow God to do what he promises he'll do. All right, guys. Hope this was a blessing. Have an awesome day, and we'll be back tomorrow.